Most of us think of breathing as a background noise, automatic, unimportant. But what if it's one of the most revealing signals your body sends? Not because you're consciously controlling it, but because of what's happening underneath. This stuff your brain and your body are doing without you even realizing it. Now, this isn't mindfulness or meditation. It's about what your breath is saying when you're not paying attention at all. Here's what just came out, and it changes everything we thought we knew about breathing. So, your nasal airway, the way you breathe through your nose, carries a stable, measurable pattern that's as unique as your fingerprint. And researchers were able to identify people based on that pattern with nearly 97% accuracy. But here's where it gets wild. That same breath pattern revealed how well they slept, whether they had signs of anxiety or depression, their body mass index, and even how their brain processes sensory and emotional information. Pretty cool. This study was just published 2025. So we're talking about cutting edge science here. In other words, your breath has been telling your story and you're just now learning how to read it. This wasn't your typical lab experiment. No, not by far. It was a full day surveillance of your breathing. Researchers at Israel's Weizmann Institute built a lightweight wearable device that sat just beneath the nostrils. It measured nasal airway from each nostril separately for a full 24 hours. While participants went through and about their normal routines during the day, no controlled environment, just them going throughout their day, doing their normal tasks. No special breathing instructions, just raw, natural data from real life. Some participants even returned for a second session months later, or in some cases, nearly 2 years later. And the results, they all held up. Each person's breathing pattern remained consistent over time, enough to identify them with 96.8% accuracy using nasal airway alone. That's a biometric signal as reliable as voice recognition or fingerprint scans. It sounds like science fiction being tracked by your breathing pattern, except your own nervous system has been doing this monitoring of your body all along. We've just now learned how to kind of grab it and make sense of it. But this is where things get personal. The researchers didn't just use breath to identify people. They decoded what these patterns mean for their mental and physical state. And what they found was incredible. Take anxiety, for example. People with higher anxiety had shorter inhales and more erratic pauses between breaths, especially during sleep. Depression showed differently as well. Those with depression markers, they had deeper, sharper inhales and longer pauses after exhaling. And even body mass index appeared in the data. Weight control by monitoring your nasal breath. Crazy. But here's the kicker. None of these people had clinical diagnosis. These were healthy individuals, yet their breathing quietly reflected their emotional and physical tendencies. We're not just detecting disease. These breath patterns might be early warning signs or even contributing factors for how someone might struggle with sleep, might be feeling anxious, or why they might be gaining weight. And I know you've probably used breathing techniques to calm you down or to focus before, but this study reveals something completely different. This isn't about controlling your breath to manage stress. It's about how your unconscious breathing patterns during everyday life and even deep sleep carries a measurable signature of who you are mentally and physically. And it goes both ways. Your brain shapes your breathing, but your breathing also shapes your brain. Kind of crazy. I think it's cool. This is because your breathing rhythm is controlled by a tiny cluster of neurons in your brain or your brainstem called the Singer complex, if I'm saying that right. Kind of like your body's internal pacemaker for breath. It constantly listens to signals from your body and adjusts your breathing based on your mood, your energy levels, emotions, and even how much oxygen you need, directly connected to memory formation, emotional regulation, and sensory processing, confirming that your breath is a real-time readout of your brain's state. But here's where it gets fascinating, at least to me. Nasal airflow, especially the timing of each breath, has been shown to influence how well you consolidate memories, how quickly you recognize emotions and faces, your alertness levels, and even your pupil size and brainwave activity. The breath isn't passive, it's actively changing how your brain functions moment by moment. If this technology keeps advancing and becomes smaller and more subtle and easier to wear, it could change everything. Think about it. Think about what this means. A wearable that quietly tracks your emotional and physical state in real time, catching signs of anxiety, burnout, poor recovery before you even feel them. Breath training tools that could help shift your mental state by mimicking the calm, steady breathing patterns of people who are focused and relaxed, or early intervention, spotting health issues before they become problems, just by analyzing how you breathe as you go about your day. All of that from your breath. Researchers are now exploring whether intentionally copying the breathing patterns of low anxiety individuals could help shift your own state, your own emotional state. It's early stage research, but the implications are staggering. Like all emerging technology, there are limitations though. For instance, the current device uses nasal cannula. It's a small tube that sits inside your nostrils. And let's be honest, it's not exactly something you want to wear 24/7. It also doesn't account for breath breathing, which limits real world applications. And sure, right now we're just looking at correlations, not clear-cut cause and effect. But one thing's becoming obvious. Our breath holds more information than we ever realized. And for the first time, we have the tools to actually listen. Every breath you take carries a signature, a unique pattern tied to how your brain works, how you feel, and how healthy you are. That pattern stays remarkably stable over years, but it's also sensitive enough to reflect stress, mood changes, and physical health in real time. We may soon have tools that read our breath to understand or even optimize our emotional state or physical state. This isn't just about breathing anymore. It's about unlocking a hidden language your body has been speaking a long time. So the next time someone tells you to just breathe, they might be giving you more scientific advice than either of you actually realized. And this next video is all about what happens when you use essential oils every day. A look at a specific flower and how its scent can calm you. Another thing, scents, breathing, within 10 minutes. So let's keep this conversation going and check that one out.